No offense, neither of these people have any money. She's in law school.
People in New York drive like they want to die. Like death is an option for them.
No, I do have hate in my heart, absolutely.
Oh, Hunter ain't never had a hoe phase. Okay, girl, you gotta call me.
I hate American imperialism, but not as much as I hate condom sex.
Let me say this, broker fees are ending soon for tenants in New York City.
Legally, they had to cut the cameras dead ass.
You need stamina to be in the club.
If Eric Adams taught us anything, nightlife and politics are not mutually exclusive.
Peyton,
I'm nervous.
you should be. I have something to show you today. Show and tell.
Okay.
Can you see that?
You got an Octobuddy.
I got an Octobuddy.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Influenced by Peyton.
No, literally, you dumb bitch. I got one. I've been sticking it on everything. Now I'm seeing these little suction cup holder things so I can take photos of myself.
It's literally addicting. Okay, the Octobuddy is like the perfect accessory for someone who suffers from your disease, which is like you look so good, but you never get the shot.
How dare
Unless
you
you're with me.
diagnose me? How dare you diagnose me on camera?
Sorry, that's how it goes, actually.
You don't know my struggle, okay?
I have witnessed your struggle because I haven't been there. Anytime I'm not there, I'm like, good luck in that grid post you speak of. I'm like, prayers up for you, sister.
No, the absolute like despair of just having to turn my phone like forward front camera, press like video record and just say, just hold it for me to someone else. And just like, I'll just try to get these shots and then take a screenshot later. Like so I did pop my Octobuddy cherry in Times Square today. Ooh. And I took a really unflattering video of myself in this cute dress I'm wearing.
What were you thinking about you? Oh, wait. What were you doing in Times Square? Recording this damn podcast?
Yeah. What talking to you. What do you think I was doing in Times Square
today? Get out of there. Be safe.
No, I am going to Olive Garden after this, and I'm so excited. Anyway, hello, LA girl.
Oh, oof. I hate to brag. You know that about me. You know that I'm like just a girl who's in Los Angeles, California.
You hate to brag. Right. Okay.
That's not me. Never has been. I'm in LA, yeah. And I've come to terms with this, the New York LA thing. Like every time you're in New York, people are like, oh, you probably hate LA. And I'm like, no, I'm bisexual. I can like LA and New York. Women can do both, don't worry. But I have this feeling now where I'm like, when people say they don't like LA, they're just like too much of a fucking hater. They have too much hate in their heart to open up to the California landscape, or they're just not on the right SSRIs. Like LA is a great place. There's no walking culture, and that part really does hurt me because I'm a cheetah girl. I like to strut like I mean it. I like to free my mind, but I don't believe in LA haters. Wait, are you an LA hater? I can't.
No, I do have hate in my heart, absolutely. Wake up with it, go to bed with it, but I'm not an LA hater. I like LA. I just don't like driving. You know that about me. I'm a really very anxious driver.
I think like driving in New York is actually worse than driving in LA, and I think people that like drive in LA, at least you're like looking at a beautiful landscape. At least you're taking it all in during traffic.
No, girl, I'm looking at the road. Are you kidding?
People in New York drive like they want to die. Like death is an option for them. And as someone who's been hit by multiple vehicles in New York, I can confirm that fact. People will just go, oops. Well, that was a child. Anyway, so back to the office.
I completely disagree. People in LA run over a group of 3 and it's like, was that Haim or Muna? Like they run over people all the time.
That's not true. But they can't drive in the rain. I will say that. Like the rain.
Can't drive in the rain. They just don't drive in the rain. You just don't leave the house in the rain. I'm actually feeling very Los Angeles when it comes to rain in New York City. I'm like, should we cancel? We can get dinner another night, you know?
Yeah. I like to emote in the rain. I like to like get in my Drew Barrymore. Actually, I guess that bitch is outside. Drew Barrymore is like, touch the rain and feel it all. I'm like more of a Hillary Duff rain
coming
where
clean.
I like let the rain fall down. Yeah, look at my window, like yearn.
Was that the song Trying to Fit a Square Inside a Circle Was My Life?
That's not for me to answer.
Oh, that was so yesterday. Not for you to answer.
I was like, I don't know what the thing is. But my thesis on LA versus New York is LA wins during the day and New York wins at night.
Oh, like, that's true.
You know, there's so much to do. There's so many activities. There's so much great like cute coffee shops and things to do, and the day just feels longer in LA. And then in New York, it's like there's always something to do. It's a great place to like visit someone because there's constantly events going on. Like you can be out at the party, at the
Okay,
next
Eric
party, at the
Adams.
afters. Yeah,
There's
that was
constantly
so Eric
events
Adams
going
of
on,
me.
and that's why you like New York
Bus,
City.
club, another club, plane, no sleep. Gaga was just quoting Eric Adams, actually. That's what it was.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that's my take. That's my hot take.
Okay, Joan Didion.
But you were home recently as well.
I was.
Right?
I'm not from California, so it wasn't California. I'm from Oklahoma, and that's where I was. I had, okay, people are calling it a gay guy weekend. That's what people are saying.
The streets.
Yes, that's what the streets are saying. I went home to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I'm from, for Tulsa Pride weekend, where I, as an ally, was assisting in my brilliant friend Stephen Brower's one-man show called Palatable Gay Robot. And it's kind of like the show's like about an AI who's being trained to like be a gay best friend, and he kind of cycles through a bunch of stereotypes. And then I'm like the programmer / engineer who's trying to like show him to the marketplace and, you know, push him back into the ranks or into like the boundaries of like what is palatable for a gay man to be. So I was kind of the antagonist, if you will.
Were you in your acting bag?
Oh, I was in my acting bag. Many people were like saying that I did a really good job. I know.
Wait, okay. Well, I've recorded TikToks with you. I know that you know how to be off book. Once you're ready, you said, and give me that line again. Okay, got it. From the top. Like, I know you actually know how to turn it on.
No, I was
Wait, I didn't realize that. I thought it was more like a live show.
No. So in the script, it's like called the like moderator, but it's really more of like a narrator, kind of like second scene partner. But I was actually like rehearsed so hard. Was like really practicing. We didn't have any time to practice together, so I did all my practicing by myself. But I honestly killed it. Not to center myself, but I killed it.
Oh my God, do you have footage?
I do have footage, and also
Leak
Stephen will be bringing this show to New York in November, so you can see.
Are you going to be doing it again?
I don't know. They got like an actually accomplished and Emmy-nominated actress to record like my parts, basically. So we'll see. But it was so fun. Like, oh my gosh, I'll just like such a sap. It's so fun to like. I remember literally Stephen, my friend, and I like talking about doing like musical theater when we were in 6th and like 5th grade, and now we're like coming back to the stage together.
Was there a song element involved? Were you singing?
Bitch, you know
that's
I wasn't
where I
singing.
worry.
You
I was gonna say, well,
I
that's
wasn't
where
singing, and not that's where I worry.
That's where you have to come to me. That's where you got to call me in.
But we did do lots of other fun stuff. I was just like kind of, you know, it was them plus me on this little like kind of tour of Tulsa, which was fun. And what else?
Some notable figures.
Some
like
notable,
Michael QB.
My notable figures. I think you mean my ops. Michael QB,
true,
Ira.
The feds. You were with the feds, actually. AKA all of our friends. Yeah.
It's like you just every morning I walk in, well. Not even every morning. It's like every time I see them, well. I'm like, oh
and
my
you're saying
gosh.
like, what happened to hello? What happened to how are you?
What happened to my name is? And then at a certain point we were like all having lunch together, and the conversation just descended into like Real Housewife quotes back and forth, which I know you're not fluent in that language, but
but I'm learning. We put
on little
I'm on
Duolingo.
Duolingo for Real Housewives. That's what I'm doing right now to try and keep up with you and the gay men in my life. Like, wait, did you see your parents at all while you were home?
Yes, I did. And that was fun. So the show is like, you know, about a lot of like queer, gay, coming of age themes. So there's also like a lot of just sexual innuendo. And right before, my mom was like, I was like, okay, it's like gonna be a little bit raunchy. And my mom was like, okay, like what do you mean? Like you'll say vagina? I was like, oh, well, since Stephen is gay, it won't be vagina. But
like,
get ready.
I gotta tell it to you straight.
Yeah,
he's gay. He is gay. Yeah.
Yes, it was. And then at one point too, like on like sitting right next to each other was my dad's girlfriend, so I guess fiance, my dad, my mom, and like her friend who she brought with her. I was like, this is wow, it's all That's like the special section.
Wait, wow. For some reason, that feels like the equivalent of like J-Lo holding Matt Damon's hand in one photo for me. I don't know why, but that's like what I think of when I think of your divorced parents like having a moment. I'm like, thank God we're
And
doing it.
only they can manage to not have a moment. It was like they didn't even have to be in the same room. Like they were just so far, like not even like it didn't even like rise to consciousness that they were so close together. But yeah, I've never like sworn in front of my parents before. So that was like,
You've never sworn in front of your parents before?
no, because I'm Black.
And I'm biracial because
I know, and
yeah,
I
got my
know you
ass
swore
beat,
in front
don't
of your
worry.
mother.
Yeah, my mom enters the room right now. She's like, and I got a story for you.
No.
Let's talk about the time I got popped for trying to call my mom outside of her name. Yeah.
Oh my God. And
That's
the
the
white
Los Angeles
blood
in me.
really.
That's the 30% white in me.
Yes.
It was, yeah.
Oh, no.
And I tried to, as rebuttal, tried to be like, well, you raised me to be a woman that doesn't take shit. You know what I mean? Like,
not you trying to girl boss
you made
on
me
your
this
mother.
way. Yeah, it was bad.
Oh my gosh.
But we're different now.
no.
We're on greener pastures.
When
her
did
and
you
I.
start swearing in front of your mother?
Early age. Actually, one time I have a visceral memory of being in the back of the car and being like, Mom, can I swear? And she was like, what? And my parents cuss so much in general. So like, of course I was picking up like curse words left and right, but I just really wanted to scream the word ass. Like I just wanted to faggot. Yeah, that was like, why did I want to do that? And she let me scream it. And she was like, okay, you good? You got that out of your system? And I was like, yes. And I was like a kid, like of no like. Anyway, so that's a little bit of my
That's
lore.
actually really cute though, that she was like, yeah, go ahead.
Get it out of your system, babe.
Yeah. No,
she would grow to regret that, but yes.
I don't swear in front of my parents. They don't swear in front of me. So it was a big moment for us.
Wow.
On stage
Growth.
for Palatable Gay Robot.
Someone maybe has been reading Emotionally Adult Children or what. I can never say the title right, and that's actually saying something.
You never say the title right, and yet you are the street team for this book. I have two copies.
Someone in this room might have been influenced to buy it, so that's on
Adult Children of
influenced by
Emotionally Immature Parents. That's what it is.
Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. That's like how you warm up with like A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U.
Okay, girl, what are we talking about this week? We'll be talking about Love is Blind DC. And is it worse than the insurrection? Possibly. Probably, actually. And we'll be joined by New York City Councilmember Chi Osse to talk about pop culture, politics, and the upcoming election. And then just a tiny little conversation, as much as it deserves. Cynthia Erivo is very upset at all of your little Wicked fan posters. She's unhappy. She wants to look down the barrel of the camera, so let her.
And don't forget that we have a bonus segment that drops every Thursday only on Wondery Plus. This week, we're talking about the new Charlie XCX album and, of course, the Sweat Tour. So subscribe to Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts if you want to check that out.
So let me just say this.
No, let me say this.
Are you looking for a home for your worst opinions?
Are you a hater first and a lover of pop culture second? Consider this a glorified group chat, but we're not calling you out. No, we're calling you in. It's a safe space
to talk shit.
But, of course, from Wondery, I'm Peyton Dix.
And I'm Hunter Harris.
And this is Let Me Say This.
Let me say this.
Let me say this.
Let me say this.
Let me say this. Let me say this.
Okay, listen. I am something of a Love is Blind connoisseur. A Love is Blind, I want to inhale Love is Blind. It's the best dating show on television, unfortunately. And I was talking to a friend who was like, this DC season is like kind of boring. I don't really care about it. I stopped watching. I was like, girl, when did you stop watching? So much is happening this season. I'm talking about a stud baby mama. I'm talking about a sugar daddy who like has a Rolex and acts like that's like so impressive. I'm talking about like a fight over a nap. I'm talking about parents who drove 10 hours. Like what more could you possibly want? This is the greatest season of Love is Blind ever.
Actually, I have to agree. Normally, I'm like, okay, I'm watching it just to keep up with culture. But this time I locked the fuck in. I didn't
No,
think things could get so crazy. I didn't realize DC moved like that. I always
You don't
thought
realize DC moved like that. No, stop right
it's
there.
not
You don't
my. I've
realize
been to Howard once. Like, it is
oh,
not my town.
it is messy city. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I have seen our politicians, so I guess there is that. But like, and I always thought the streets were too clean, but I didn't realize DC is a city where only the most diabolical people live.
No, I really hate to say it, but it's like DC was crazy even before Trump. Like that's how bad. That's how insane people in that
Yeah,
city move.
yeah.
I like I mean my cup runneth over. That's all I can say. Should we talk about the couples?
Yeah, I was gonna say let's introduce you to these characters because that's really what they are. Let's open with Brittany and Leo.
Brittany and Leo, he is super rich. He says he's an art dealer. She is an esthetician who wants to be a trophy wife. And they were so chaotic. They couldn't, the show stopped shooting them. Like they couldn't even make it on camera. They were so weird.
Legally, they had to cut the cameras dead ass. But, okay, and then we have, let's talk about it, Hannah and Nick.
Hannah, who is bossy, and as someone who reads Hung Up, my newsletter said, Hannah doesn't even look competent using a broom. And yet she keeps telling Nick about himself. And he's like just a real estate agent who lives at home.
Yeah. She is like the meanest girl alive, and he is like the meekest man alive. And therefore, it will obviously, yes, never work.
We'll get into it. I'm kind of becoming a little bit of a Hannah defender.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to hear that. But next we have Monica and Steven.
Monica, who is I hate to say it, but like Monica's voice is like white voice from the Boots Riley movie. You know what I mean? Like she talks like she's like permanently in line, like about to yell at a Delta ticketing agent. Like that's kind of what her voice is to me. And then Steven is our biracial king. Imagine Adonis, Drake's son, all grown up, and that's Steven.
And we'll follow up on that. When Adonis grows up, I'm gonna be like, wait, and open the notes, open the books. I honestly, didn't they both claim to be biracial? Wasn't she like, I don't know if I should identify
yes,
as like
yes, because he called her a mutt, and she said yes. I think she's like Latinx and black.
Yeah. I think she's maybe like 30% or 75% black.
Okay,
just like
put
me.
away the 23andMe. Move on.
Okay, all right. And next we have Taylor and Garrett.
Taylor is the only girl on this season that I'm like, wait, I actually like we would be friends in real life, you know? Although I do kind of like she's like a little bit too like smart, like sciencey for my taste, but she feels like a really like, normal person. Garrett, who I was kind of on board with until he said something about like being shocked that she wasn't white because she's I think half Asian. And he was like, oh, weird. I didn't even think of you as having a race, which in white boy terms means he just assumed you were white and now is like in shambles because you're not. But I like them.
I love a bitch with common sense. I love a bitch with common sense, and we do have that with her. Next we have Marissa and Ramses.
Okay, and I'm talking about tell me about how this man says free Palestine with his whole chest, but his brain short circuits when he has to think about condom sex. I mean, my God.
But that's men for you. That's like that's the epitome of men.
He has
we have so much to get into on that.
Tucked behind his ear, and he's like, I hate American imperialism, but not as much as I hate condom sex.
A man with a rat tail will fuck you raw, and then will also be like free Palestine.
I
complimentary
that you've even
only on the latter.
Raw. Oh, okay.
Okay, last we have Alex and Tim.
Last but not least but not last, these are like the like boring couple who I'm like, what problems do you guys even have? But I guess it's like a nap. That's their biggest problem. She took a nap and he told her, don't take a nap.
Wait. Actually, last but not least, Ashley and Tyler.
Oh, when duh.
Let's talk about a stud.
Ashley and Tyler and his stud baby mama.
Yeah.
that
kind of like the future I want.
Literally, I was like, wait, Tyler's so sweet. And then he said something about like, oh, light-skinned men are always seen as liars and cheaters. And then he forgot to say, and he's why. And he is the reason why.
Yeah. What was the most shocking moment to you on this show so far? Because we have what? How many more episodes are coming out?
We have, I think, like 3 more, maybe 2 wedding episodes, and then like the reunion. Either 2 or 3 more episodes.
So far, what was the most shocking moment for you?
The most shocking moment of this season for me, honestly, was getting on Reddit and seeing once again can I say stud? Is that allowed?
Yeah.
That's like a description. So, sorry, excuse me.
Yes, you are
Last
legally
time I'm
allowed to
going to ask
say
for
stud.
permission.
And then Hunter says faggot next episode, being like, yeah, I'm done asking for permission. Yes, there's a stud involved. Please say
Stop.
more.
That this woman she's like, yes, Tyler and I have 3 children together, and he acts like he was just a sperm donor. But because I'm a lesbian and he's straight, we like didn't really want to be like a couple. But like, yes, we have kids together, and he fully on camera said that he was a sperm donor for a lesbian couple, and that he doesn't have the children, that he's not active in their lives, and yet absolutely he is. And that this woman saying, actually, Tyler, I knew something was going crazy when he deleted his Facebook, deleted all the photos, and told his mom to delete photos of our children together because he was going to disown them on television. I mean, my God.
And I mean, speaking of fucking raw, she also alleged in that video that they had conceived the natural way.
Yes, that they
And
were
she
in a
was like, it was a
relationship.
little daunting to me considering I'm a huge dyke, but you know, it is what it is. I'm down to save $1. I'm down to ball on a budget. And that's
Oh.
what they did.
I think that they had a relationship. Like, I think that it wasn't there. All of this, like, you know, phony, like, oh, I was trying to help someone. And this man said on television, and I thought it was God telling me, like, you know, this is how I can help. This is how I can be a better ally. I said,
Yeah. Well, I always get nervous when someone calls on God in this show. Like when someone summons the spirit of Christ, the Lord and Savior on Love is Blind, something's always afoot. And like, I will say though, something that I noticed a little less of with DC was there was less God talk. Normally there's so much God talk on this show. And also, I will say what I did love is the girls were fucking on this season of Love is Blind. You know how when they finally go in the honeymoon and almost every time after there's only like one couple that fucks, like this time all the girls like, yeah, we did that last night. And you, like, there was only one couple that was like, we didn't fuck. Like,
okay,
I love it.
I see what you're saying, but I honestly, it kind of like is weird to me. Like, I understand that, you know, you want to like establish a physical connection early on, but when you have like just basically met someone and you want to like, I don't know, sleep with them automatically, I'm like, that's like a little bit weird. Because as we're saying with Marissa,
is it a little bit weird to sleep with someone? Oh, Hunter ain't never had a hoe phase. Okay, girl, you gotta call me. We gotta talk offline.
No, whatever happened to hello, my name is. Like, we just met and all of a sudden we're getting hot and heavy. I'm like,
yeah. Okay, I feel that way not about the sex part, but about when they meet each other for the first time and they go in for the kiss. I'm always like, red flag.
That's what
when
I'm
you
saying.
Go in for a
it's
hug
so
first.
Like, your first kiss with anyone is so like charged and yet awkward at the same time. Like, that's what I'm imagining the sex is. So whenever they're like, oh my God, the sex was so good, Marissa and Ramsey's, I'm like, I don't believe that. Like, no offense, I'm not buying it.
Well,
and as
she
we
was
see
formerly
now,
Mormon. Formerly Mormon girls are horny as hell, I'll tell you that.
Right. Okay. Well, as we see now, the sex is the root of a lot of their problems. Not to say that premarital sex is bad, but listen, they're not selling it at all.
I will say I loved their discussion though about the military and about, I mean, her flip-floppy ass. She was like, it's so bad. I don't stand by what I did. I'm really like, I would never go back. I regret it all, but I support the troops. And I said, we gotta pick a tone, and we gotta pick a side, babe. And I was rocking with him until he was not rocking with condoms, and was like, I gotta enjoy sex. The fuck.
I am like, Marissa is so close to getting it, you know? She's so close to being like, actually, the military is bad. And if America is killing people, that's not good.
Right.
But what I did was different.
Said just like that with a question mark at the end.
Like, well, I'm like, girl, we need to start completing some thoughts. We need to start completing some sentences.
Talk about Marissa's mom. You're kind of Marissa mom coded sometimes.
And you know what? Thank you. And I'll actually take that as a compliment because my girl is a real she's crazy woman. Like her telling her daughter's fiance, I'll cut your balls off like 5 times in a row. And then she's like, and we need to sign a prenup. We need to get a prenup signed right now. I'm like, no offense, neither of these people have any money. She's in law school. Like, why is it the first priority?
She's a student.
Like, can you just let her study for her tests? Like, can you let her write her term papers? Don't stop shoving a prenup down her throat. Like, if they even make it to the altar. This woman who has a tongue ring, but has a problem with her daughter's fiance having 2 little dreadlocks at the back of his head. That actually took me out.
I can skip both of those. I will say that. I have to say, besides Marissa's mom, that was one of the top shocking moments, or at the very least, I was gooped, I was gagged moments. Then we have Steven's text. Steven texts.
Okay,
Who
so
cheating on the show, cheating live on the show is so crazy. But can you explain?
not too much.
Let's walk us through it. Let's
Yeah,
walk us
I was
through how
gonna
we
say
got
not
to
too
the
much.
text
He didn't
messages.
cheat live on the show. He cheated when he showed up drunk to a sleep test that was apparently scheduled for a long time. I read an interview with Monica in Vulture where she said that basically Steven had, so for some like veterans benefits, he had to take a sleep test and it had been scheduled for a long time. And so finally it like lands during the show. He goes to the sleep test. He says that he got drunk before, which Monica called into question. And he was like texting a girl, like sending dirty messages back and forth. And Monica found them on his phone. And she wouldn't say exactly what the texts were, but that they were just kind of like very explicit, probably kinky, stuff that
Yeah.
she was like not comfortable with. And she confronts him about it. And he's like, yeah, okay, you're right. I'm a piece of shit. Like, yes, I just like got really nervous. Da, 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 da. And then Monica, my ice cold sister, says, I would like you to Venmo me for wasting my time. And but send the Venmo right now as we're in this conversation so I know that it's sent. So I know that it's
Yeah.
done. And I said, that's
Yeah.
a corporate baddie right there. That's
Oh,
a
she's got an
corporate
LLC.
girl.
She's got an S
Yes.
corp. Yeah,
Yes.
queen,
Yes.
queen tings. And good for her. More situationships should end like that, where it's like, you've actually wasted my time. Here's an invoice, and you're paying it net 10 minutes. Like, that's how it should be.
No, it's like
That was
net 10
crazy.
seconds.
I will say though, when he made some joke like an episode before about like how he would like fuck a bowl of Cheerios, after that I was like, oh, he would. Oh, that nigga would.
Well,
Or I guess he's not a nigga. He's sometimes a nigga. I don't know.
he's a
Part-time?
mixed descent.
Okay.
But there was like a moment early on when they were in the pods, and this was, I mean, there were so many red flags with this man. Him being a like Trump voter in 2016, him hating Hillary, but like couldn't name one single thing about her that he didn't like. Misogyny. Also, he said something like, I want you to treat me like a piece of meat. Like, I want you to really like, you know, throw me around. And I'm like, Monica weighs like 100 pounds. Like, what are you talking about, sir?
Listen, more can be done with less sometimes. I'll just put that in the air. But he was at first he was just being like a bossy bottom. And I was like, okay, like maybe they match each other's freaks. Maybe that's totally fine.
And you would think that,
Monica,
but once she said, like, I'm used to like luxury goods, like I want you to like surprise me with a handbag or something. And he was like, oh, you mean like Kate Spade? And she was like, have you ever heard of Louis Vuitton? And he's like, is that a person? I said, oh, they're not getting married. I mean, listen, you know, in that moment, I feel empathy for both of them, but they're never making it. It's not going to happen.
No. Not Kate Spade. R.I.P. Queen, though, but not Kate Spade.
Not Kate
Oh,
Spade.
shit. Oh, nasty work.
The consensus, I feel like, is that Taylor and Garrett are like the real love. Like, they're on a different show. They're on a show called Happily Ever After. They're not on a show called Love is Blind. And I wish them the best. What do you think?
I do wish them the best. I felt, at least in the pods, that she was a little bit insecure.
Yeah.
And that's fine, though. Women are allowed to be whoever they want to be. But that did make me a little bit nervous because I felt like she was holding back so much. But so even when we got to the part where he got a text from an ex, or like, I was a little bit confused on that part. He got a DM from an ex and he liked it, but then he doubled down that actually he got a text and he responded. And that's where I was like, ooh, okay, boy, get it together, because this girl's been burned before. She's been cheated on. You can tell from in the pods. And obviously a large part of me is like, oh, like text an ex as much as you want. I'm a lesbian. So at this point, it's like, that's just part of our nature. Like all exes are always around. That's how it goes. Get used to it, sister. But I guess with straight people, it's weird because men are weird. But it didn't seem like that big of a deal to me. And maybe the show just made it seem more of a dramatic situation. But I do kind of hope for the best for them. I do fast forward a little bit through their scenes because I find them to skew on the boring side. But I do think that hopefully it's a helpful counter to all these really crazy toxic relationships on like, oh, maybe this is a way you can communicate. Here's an example for the straight people in DC that are suffering out there, it sounds like. But someone on this show turned me, I said, feminism out the door. Feminism gone. It kind of has always gone with me. But just to close us out with Hannah, I need to hear your take because she makes me hate women. Uh-oh.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay, this is the thing. I think with Garrett and Taylor, it's kind of like it's just like this whole situation is just so charged, getting married so quickly that maybe tensions were high and that him like I mean, he's just seemed like he made a mistake and like misspoke, and then he obviously is not interested in his ex. At least doesn't seem that way. But with Hannah, I don't know. I mean, Nick just kind of seems like annoying. Like he seems like really immature and just annoying to be around. And I don't want to live with someone who have to clean up behind. And I don't have to, I don't want to feel alone in this relationship when it comes to like delegating tasks. And that's kind of what I
Sure.
was getting from Hannah. I think she wasn't explaining it well, but she did say that she has a problem with thinking that she does everything right and that she can't like rely on a partner. And so I think that's where their disconnect is. Does
Her
Nick
own
deserve
family hates her.
I know. Does
Her
Nick
own
deserve all
family's like,
that
yeah, she is a
malice?
bitch. Sorry.
No, she acts better than him. That's a problem. But like, I can feel a little bit of empathy for someone who obviously is like feeling a lot of like perfectionism that she's not living up to, and she's like pushing it on to him. And so
Fine.
that's where their issue is. Now, the big question before we close, because I have to ask you, do you think that Ashley and Tyler, with 3 kids who we didn't tell her about until 2 weeks before the wedding, are going to get married? Yes or no?
No. And
I
you?
think, I think yes. I think yes.
For her sake, I hope no.
I
But
hope
we will find
I hope
out.
not. I hope for the sake of those children too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Praying on my hands and knees. For the sake of that stud. Let's like light our candles. Let's hope it's a no at the altar.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, yeah.
We don't just talk pop culture on this podcast, okay? We talk more than Nepo babies, more than divorce. We do politics. Yeah, brag. And with us today to discuss politics and pop culture, we have Chi Osse. At 26, Chi Osse is the youngest elected official in New York and the only member of Gen Z. He was elected at age 23 following his leadership in New York City's 2020 wave of the Black Lives Matter movement. And today, he is a leader in politics in his use of social media and short-form video. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
Yes, thank you for being here. Okay, I have a very important question.
Yeah.
Are you a lover or a hater in general? How do you identify?
I feel like in order to be a great lover, you also need to be a great hater.
Okay, yes, absolutely. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
You know what
Langston
I mean?
Hughes in the room. That was beautiful. That was poetic.
No, that kind of like ended my life. That's amazing.
I feel like they're like the North and the South Pole. You need both for like the world to rotate.
Yes.
I feel like in order to understand how to love something or someone, you have to have something to compare it to through the lens of hate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, no,
That
that's
was
like really
really
beautiful.
beautiful,
Rocked
actually.
me. That has really
No,
rocked
I
me.
mean, I don't know. I think hating and I mean, obviously, I think there's a difference between being a hater and hating, especially around the subject of pop culture and things that we talk about. I feel like that's the very essence of pop culture is to include hating. I think there's a difference between that and then being hateful, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I want to definitely note that there's a divide between the two, and there's so many hateful people out there that want to do harm to others. They're not the same as haters, right? Haters, as we know it in pop culture, are people who discuss a plethora of different things with great intensity and great critique sometimes,
So
and
it's
humor.
like it's a Barb versus an Arianator. Yeah.
There's haters and then there's stand Twitter. And like there's a
Yes.
difference between the two, for sure. Yeah.
But sometimes, I mean, there's a gray line. A gray line between haters and stan culture sometimes. I mean, I feel like there's some stans that are really know how to read someone in a way that is humorous and makes the whole crowd or, landscape of Twitter laugh. But there's also a lot of corny stans who are like, well, my fave is, do that thing.
Who just reach for a slur.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Reach for a slur. And
That's the first line of defense.
That's not fun for anybody.
No.
That's, now your fave looks bad.
Yeah.
They're hateful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, follow-up question. Are you a lover or a hater of politics?
Both. Both.
Okay.
I think it's I hate I mean the reason my hate for politics is the reason I'm in it, right? Like this like level of complacency that exists across like every single level. People who work for private interests or special interests over the people. I hate all of that, but I also love the drama is sometimes fun when you're not like a part of it, and also like the work that you can do for people is really great. I think they're, especially in America, and I'm not the first to say it, our politics, again, from like every single level, kind of is reality TV, and kind of like a pageantry show as well. So a pageant, and there's like this element of fun that exists within it that I kind of love. So again, sorry, I'm giving like such political politician answers of like,
No,
are you a
I'm
lover or
loving
hater?
it.
Both. Are you like a lover or hater? Both. But it's so true. Like I can't pick one.
I
And
love
that's why
it.
you're good at what you do.
Right.
I mean, to that point though, like what even made you want to enter politics? Because, it is a landscape that it's easy to critique and it's also difficult to participate in. So what kind of called you into that career?
Yeah, I literally never thought I would be doing this professionally. I like dropped out of college in my sophomore year.
Oh,
Moved back
that's so
home to New York.
inspiring.
Yeah,
I wish
I
I
know,
dropped out
that's
of
so
college.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Oh, okay.
no, I'm definitely proud of it, and I think it's so interesting when I like speak at schools sometimes and bring it up, and like they're like, "Oh, like, don't say that," but no, it's a part of my journey. Yeah, I like dropped out of school, moved back to New York, ended up working in nightlife as a promoter, and was throwing parties and partying a lot myself, and that entire world flipped on its head when the pandemic hit. And I've always been aware of what's been happening politically within our country. I mean, I think that's inherent if you're born Black in the United States of America. My parents raised me to believe that way. Was very engaged in Bernie Sanders' campaign in 2016, and was always very vocal about politics, but truly never believed that it would be an industry or field that I would be involved with. Obviously, during the pandemic, I was, in lockdown, not really doing anything, didn't know what was next, and saw the killing of George Floyd, like many of us did, on social media and various different news outlets. And I decided to, leave my quarantine and protest, and was documenting a bunch of the actions that were taking place in New York City at the time. And people were tuning in. I was fully on the ground, capturing these moments of, the police hitting people and beating people and pepper spraying people at the very same protests that were, pushing back against police brutality. And I was going out every single day after that, utilizing social media to, again, amplify what was happening on the ground. And then also, organize with some people who were also protesting, and put together this activist collective that honed in on the powers of our city government. Now in New York City, the city council is responsible for a budget of over $110 billion. That's money that goes into our schools and healthcare system and streets and parks and our NYPD. And I was very upset, as were many people at the time, with how much money was going towards the police department when we saw a lack of funding within various other agencies within our city. And when I saw that my city council member at the time didn't vote against or push back against that budget that would have bloated the NYPD's budget even more, I said fuck it and decided to run for office myself, not really knowing like anything about local government, how to run a campaign, but had this fire within me that really wanted to make a change within the city that made me who I was. So I ran, over a year-long campaign at 22 years old at the time, put together this like rambunctious grassroots campaign operation filled with young people who have never worked in government before, people who worked in fashion and music and art and whatever. And we all just wanted to see something change at any level, given the time that we were currently in. And I ended up beating this 40-year Democratic establishment in my district through a lot of hard work and creativity, frankly.
Like that meme that's like, what are you doing at 22? You should be in the club. You were in the club.
I was in the club.
So tell me, how does a career in nightlife, like how does it complement or kind of help your career in politics?
Yeah, I mean, so like, if you're promoting in like January where like everyone's doing the sober Jan thing, and like you need to make money and you need to get people to the club, That's like the same amount of like organizing that's built around getting people to the polls in like a local city council race, right? If not harder.
Yes.
Um, Also, like politicians kind of act like drunks, and like I worked around a lot of drunks in in nightlife, so
Uh-huh.
it really built in some level of grit within me, right? In
Mhm.
terms of dealing with people who sometimes move with no sense, right? Yeah, I mean, I think that like the whole like posting a flyer and getting people excited about something was really kind of like the energy that I brought to campaigning, and even throughout what I do now as a city council member, in terms of like turning people out to a city council hearing or guidelines board hearing, or having them like call their council member to lobby for a bill, right? It's like the same skill that went into making something that maybe doesn't seem as exciting to the masses,
Mhm.
something that seems exciting to them, right? Or
Yeah.
something that energizes a group of people to either come to something, show up to something, or speak up about something. So I think there's a very similar skill set that I used during my years in nightlife as I do now.
Totally. You need stamina to be in the club.
Absolutely.
If Eric Adams taught us anything, nightlife and politics are not mutually exclusive.
that's
I'm like,
that's
if
a
you ever met
fact.
Anyone that was a fashion intern, you know that they're a hustler. Like,
Right.
if you have
That's
to
what I'm
carry those bags
saying.
on a subway, yeah, no, no, no. That's um, I actually am very curious too, because you are so young.
Mhm.
Has that ever felt like a barrier of entry in or something that's held against you in working in politics?
Sure. I mean, I remember making phone calls and knocking on doors and asking, the people of my district, or prior to it being my district, to vote for me. And people would sometimes like open the door and like see. I mean, I look at pictures of myself from like a couple years ago now, and I'm like, Jesus, like I was asking people to vote for me. But like some people would like laugh at my face,
Mm.
or say that I was too young or too green. A lot of my opponents would use that as, a tactic during my race, but you know, in many ways where that happened, there were many other instances where people were excited about, a younger person getting involved in politics. My campaign was engaging a lot of young people who have never been engaged in a local race before.
Mhm.
Mm.
We had a lot more volunteers than any of my opponents at the time, a lot of grassroots fundraising support, because we built excitement around the campaign. We were utilizing social media in a way that has never been used in local city or city politics in general before.
Mhm.
Because of my, background in nightlife and just being a New Yorker, just had this incredible network of creative people that, really helped my campaign become something that was more than just a local city council race. And
Mhm.
I think that excitement, because of the youth, because of my upbringing, because I'm a child of the internet, on top of like this traditional strategy of knocking doors and making phone calls, resulted in my win. So I always, saw my age and continue to see my age as a benefit rather than a setback.
Mm.
Yeah.
I want to ask about your upbringing a little bit. Your
Sure.
dad made a name for himself in entertainment and culture, and you've done the same thing in social media, kind of bridging the gap between politics and pop culture and entertainment.
Mhm.
Can you tell us a little bit about um, how you've made that connection, like how that happens?
Yeah. Well, first of all, terrific question. Like I love when I'm doing an interview and it's some like amazing questions or creative questions. So I really appreciate that one. And you did your
Thank you.
research, of course. So my dad, his name was Reggie Osse. He passed away in 2017. May he rest in peace. But his like a stage name was Combat Jack. He was an entertainment attorney. He was a pioneer in hip hop podcasting. And he just had decades of experience in working within hip hop. I think he always says that. I think he's on record saying hip hop was his first love. So I think he built a career around this part of culture that is very authentic to New York and
Mhm.
Brooklyn.
Mhm.
And he was a nerd and obviously loved to speak about current events as well. And he really did a great job of molding the two between culture and politics and society.
Mhm.
And that's something that I've always been inspired about by him, and something that I've kind of naturally came to doing within my role and being an elected official and even running for office myself.
Mhm.
I was running at 22. Like I didn't really have as many years on earth as some of my opponents and even some of my colleagues, but I only had the option to bring my full self to this world, right? And through that, I always find it important and notice that in order to engage people again in something that I think it's interesting, and I said that I love it and hate it, but politics is, especially local politics, is foreign to a lot of people. It's boring to a lot of people, and I don't blame them. Like, a lot of elected officials are boring. A lot of elected officials are corny. They don't know how to reach people. I've said this before, right? And whether it's intentional or not, it's not good for society to have people that are not, getting information out there to the people because of, the way that they communicate or operate or who they are. So I always found it essential within my work to bridge that gap between culture and politics because of, how it engages more people than you think, and how it could sometimes drive the best type of change that I want to see in our society. And I know that, many other people do.
What is your hope for not just the upcoming national election, but also for the upcoming local election?
Yeah, I mean, this national election has been crazy. I mean, I think every 4 years this craziness continues, especially since 2016. I don't want Trump to win, and I'm not saying the Democrats are, Superman and here to save the day during this election or any election, right? But what Trump is promising to do within his potential second term is incredibly scary, especially around Project 2025, around a federal abortion ban, potential federal abortion ban, deporting immigrants, defunding the Department of Education. I mean, the list goes on. I really would hate to see a second Trump presidency. So would obviously love to see Kamala Harris, and I'm not standing her or any politician, but I want to see her win over Donald Trump. I want us to win back the House. I hope that we keep the Senate. Republicans are batshit crazy. Democrats aren't, angels, but the other side is fucking insane. And like, I just really want to prevent that or prevent Trump from coming into office. So, I mean, that's the first thing that I'm really concerned about in terms of this coming election. And I know it's complicated. I know a lot of people have, myself included, a lot of conflicting feelings about, supporting a Democratic ticket. But I, as a organizer, as someone who works in politics, as someone who represents, over 170,000 plus people, I always see my job and all of our jobs who care about, a better future for all of us, to always put ourselves in the most strategic, better position to continue fighting for our values, whether they be abortion rights, Palestinian rights, the list goes on. So we need to elect Kamala. And then in New York, on the ballot, when you flip the ballot over, I hope there's New York listeners listening.
Yes, there better be.
There better be, yeah. There are 6 different ballot proposals. Please vote yes on Prop 1, which is a ballot proposal that would codify Roe v. Wade in the state of New York. So just in case the other guy wins, we have that protected here in New York. It also protects, various different, other marginalized groups of people, LGBTQ folks, disabled folks. It's a human rights package that would codify a lot of different laws that support marginalized communities. And then Eric Adams is on some bullshit again. And
again, so
wait, I'm shocked.
What do you mean?
and he's proposing 5 ballot proposals from 2 through 6 on the city ballot this year, and I'm recommending everyone to vote no against these. It's a strategy that the mayor is trying to do to take powers away from the council that would hold him accountable and give him more power, which I think is very dangerous given what we've seen over the past couple of months. So please vote no on those. Everyone's saying nix through 6 and yes on Prop A or Prop 1. And that's what I recommend you guys doing this election. I hope that made sense.
Yes, I can't wait to turn my ballot over and really get to work.
Flip the ballot over at first. Like, Flip her over.
No, if I flip her over first, I'm going to forget to
You
vote
think
for
so?
president. Yes. No, my short-term memory is not good. Okay, rapid fire questions. Peyton, do you want to start?
Yes. Corner store or bodega?
Corner store.
Nicki Minaj or Kim?
Nicki Minaj.
You're like, I don't want to get got, so I'm
Yeah,
saying.
no, seriously. The Kim fans
Elsewhere.
are not, Kim stands are not like, doxing. So
Yeah. No, yeah.
They're like going
I'm
to
actually
work.
I don't
choosing
think they
They're
know how to
right
dox. I don't
jobs.
think they know how to dox.
That's the safe option and the smart option. I hear you. Okay, elsewhere or nowadays?
Elsewhere.
Okay, this is two. First of all, what are we going to do about broker fees?
Fuck, wait, I can't say elsewhere over nowadays.
That was a targeted gay question.
No, I know.
just
Fine,
want
you can
to
keep
know.
that in. What are we gonna
What are we going to do about broker fees in New York City?
Yeah, so I have a bill that would require whoever hires a broker, whether landlord or tenant within New York City, to pay a broker fee.
Mhm.
As you both probably know, when
Mhm.
you're a tenant in the city, first of all, the shit's crazy.
It's traumatic.
It's
paying a
traumatic.
broker
No,
fee.
it's traumatic. Yeah.
Hunter and I have gotten got a few times.
I
Yes.
mean, who hasn't, right? Everyone has a story. 9 times out of 10, when you're looking for an apartment, whether it's through word of mouth, from Street Easy or a friend, you show up to a lease signing and you have to pay this broker fee ranging from 15 to 30% of your annual rent to a broker that your landlord hired, which is complete BS. I have a bill in the city council called the FAIR Act, which stands for Fairness and Apartment Rental Expenses Act. And this bill would, again, require that whoever hires a broker, whether landlord or tenant, would pay the broker fee, which would save New Yorkers thousands of dollars, because how many tenants do you know hire a broker or actively hire a broker? Very few. And this bill is going to pass very, very soon. I can't give out a date yet, but if you're a prospective tenant in New York or even a current tenant in New York and you're thinking about moving, there's a future coming where you would not have to pay a broker fee.
I love a tease.
Well, thank
I love
fuck.
I love a watch this space.
Yeah,
I love
no,
a
we do
drama.
watch this
soon
space. Yeah,
To HBO Max. Yeah.
you guys are hearing it first.
I love it. Thank you.
I'm breaking it on the pod.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Chi, thank
Let
you
me say
so
this: broker fees are ending soon for tenants in New York City.
Exclusive.
Yeah, let me say that.
Let me say that and say that. Chi, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me on.
And where can people follow you?
You can find me on Instagram at Chi Osse, CHIOSSE, TikTok at Chi, the number 4, NYC, and then on Twitter, if you're still using that, OSSE Chi. Both of you use Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Regrettably.
And thank you for calling it by its
unfortunately.
government name.
No, I don't
Yes,
call
please.
it by the
I would
by
never
the-
call the other.
the letter.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for
We really
having me.
appreciate you. Okay, we need to say this on the record. Cynthia Riva's pussy is not green.
Girl, we're gonna a cease and desist has just been issued. Don't start.
A red dot has appeared on my forehead. The singer, actress, and star of the upcoming movie musical Wicked spoke out against a movie poster edit. I'm already tired as I say this, that more closely resembles the show's poster with red lipstick and a smirk and her, trigger warning, eyes covered. Miss Thing has lost the plot. I really hate when celebrities can't be fun. I really hate when celebrities can't be quiet. And she's being boring and loud.
It's just so like, ugh, is this what we're talking about? This is what she's up in arms about? No, you have to read what she wrote. She posted this on Instagram stories, right? Like a photo of the edit and her calling it disgraceful. Go ahead.
So I'll go ahead and read what she wrote. This is I almost did a British accent, but I decided against. I already have one cease and desist. I don't need another. Okay. This is the wildest, most offensive thing I have seen, equal to that awful AI of us fighting, equal to people posing the question, is your pussy green? It degrades me. It degrades us. The original poster is an illustration.
All caps.
I am in all caps, of course. Thank you for that. Case sensitive. I am a real life human being who chose to look right down the barrel of the camera to you, the viewer. Because without words, we communicate with our eyes. Our poster is an, how do you say that word? Homage? Is that right?
Homage, yes.
Okay, keep that in. I love being illiterate. Homage, not an imitation. To edit my face and hide my eyes is to erase me, and that is just deeply hurtful.
And say that. Ooh, hallelujah. In Jesus' name.
I love the Bible. In Jesus' name.
My God. I read that honestly in disbelief. It gets crazier and crazier with every sentence.
Yeah.
It degrades me. It degrades us. Mind you, we're talking about just an edit to make the movie poster look more like the show poster. It's like, what?
Also, the long-standing question of is your pussy green is not about her. Like, babe, you're not the centerpiece of this meme that originated in like 2014.
Not you saying stop
Relax.
centering yourself.
We need to stop centering Black queer women.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna get canceled for that.
No, it's like your
Yeah.
microphone is snatched out of the frame. I can't wait.
So that was her response. But wait, recently Ariana responded? That I
Yes.
didn't know or didn't
Yes.
see.
Yes. Okay. So Ariana was on the carpet of the like Academy Museum Gala in LA, and she said that, okay, and this is when my sister Ari is like really doing damage control more than Cynthia even knows that she needs. Ariana said, it's very complicated because I find AI so conflicting and troublesome sometimes, but I think it's such a massive adjustment period. I have so much respect for my sister Cynthia, and I love her so much. So Ariana is basically saying, yeah, it's like, it's a bit much. It's a bit, we're doing a bit too much about this. A fan edit of a poster. I mean, this is like, you're attacking your own fans.
Yeah.
Those
Like,
are the people.
you gotta
Those are the
relax.
people who are choosing Wicked over Gladiator 2 and Paul Mescal's thighs on day one of release. So don't piss them off, please.
You gotta let the musical theater gays cook. Like, let them get their freak off, okay? That's the whole point. She should know. I'm allowed to say that. She should know.
But she kind of has a history of standing on the wrong kind of business.
Famously.
All I have to say is thank God for this movie. I'm feeling like we're on the cusp of like a Don't Worry, Darling kind of press tour with them. Because just imagine, okay, let me look right down the barrel of the camera.
Okay, please.
Imagine the red carpet where Ariana is with SpongeBob and Cynthia Erivo is with Lena Waithe. Imagine it. Just imagine it. It's going to be amazing.
Herstory.
It's going to be
Yeah.
amazing.
This is for lesbians. This is for gays. This is
This
for
is
me, actually.
this is not
Thank
for
God.
AI. This is not
This
for
is not
people
for
on
AI.
your
Put
close
the
your
AI
computer.
down.
No more.
Put the AI down so Cynthia Erivo can put the gun down. And then we'll all be safe. Please.
Oh my God.
Well, that's it for this week. As usual, we are 2 online, so you don't have to be.
And you know, I'm thinking like, what's a more chaotic city than Love is Blind, DC? Do I even dare poke Dropkick Murphys and say Love is Blind, Boston?
Need that immediately. And I need feminism to return to my veins after leaving when Cynthia Erivo complained about a Wicked fan edit.
Yeah, and you know, if nothing else, I'm happy that you have returned to LA because you're wearing it well.
Let me